From tourists to travelers, Justina Chen Headley wrote, "A tourist looks, a traveler participates." Nikki and I have traveled as tourists many times in the past. This was our chance to be travelers and participate in the rich cultural experiences of Ghana.
Accra is the capital of Ghana. We started our trip with a visit to a museum to learn the basics of Ghanaian culture. We then hopped on a trotro to go to the Aburi Botanical Garden to learn about the native plant species. Since Accra is on the Gulf of Guinea, we were able to explore a coastal ecosystem and Ghanaian fishing practices. We soon came to agree with Maya Angelou, while the rest of the world has been improving technology, Ghana has been improving the quality of man's humanity to man. We found the people of Ghana to be warm, humorous, and hospitable.
A big draw for us to go to Ghana was that a former Herman alumnus is doing her field research in Wa. We were very excited to travel to the Upper West to see the villages where she is working. The Upper West is not as rich with natural resources as the coastal areas of the country. Many of them are subsistence farmers and often struggle to get enough food and rely on village wells for water. While in the Upper West, we explored the Black Volta River ecosystem and the Wei Chao Hippo Sanctuary. While taking a canoe ride down the river, we spotted 3 hippos playing in the water.
The highlight of our trip was a walking safari through the Mole Animal Reserve. We woke up to the sight of baboons reporting for their busy day of stealing food from unsuspecting tourists. We then started our safari. We saw antelope, water buffaloes, and students taking a time out from their studies to watch the elephants parading through their playground. This reminded us of our own students spying the first snow of the season. Since we were seeing elephants in their natural habitat, we were happy that our guide was carrying a rifle.
After gaining some space in our backpacks, we finally tried our luck at haggling with local artisans in Tamale. Artisans were selling traditional Ghanaian arts and crafts such as beads and batik cloth. Our shopping trip was short-lived because of the massive storm that was moving in. Up to this point, the rains of the rainy season came in only at night. On our way out of Tamale, we spotted many villages consisting of round houses.
Our next adventure was a visit to the Fima Boabeng Monkey Reserve. The sprightly Mona monkeys frolicked around us looking for a handout, while the black and white colobus monkeys watched our shenanigans from high above in the treetops. The villages respect monkeys so much that they give them funerals and bury them in a special monkey cemetery.
While the Mole Animal Reserve was the natural highlight of the trip, Kumasi was the cultural highlight of the trip. We toured the Kajita market with comfort. Kajita is 30 acres filled with over 10,000 vendors selling what seemed like every item under the sun. We also toured the cultural center. While there, we were able to see artisans making their crafts and took time to learn about the Ashanti people at the Prempeh II Museum.
From Kumasi, we traveled back to the coast to jump in a canoe to investigate the Amansuri wetlands, a beautiful swamp that starts out as a marshy jungle and opens into Lake Amansuri. The lake proved to be a marvel to how man has adapted to his surroundings. The Zalezi Stilt Village was built over 500 years ago. Legend has it that the snail god led them from Mali to Lake Amansuri and advised them to build a village on the water.
Cape Coast was a place of mixed feelings. While being a beautiful colonial town with awe-inspiring rainforest, it also was a major hub of slave trade in Western Africa. We were able to see the layers of the forest as we traversed a series of suspension bridges. In the canopy, we could take in the enormous biodiversity of this ecosystem.
We saved the most picturesque area for last. The Volta region was full of lush vegetation, beautiful lakes and rivers, and mountains. We climbed Afajado, the highest mountain in Ghana, with our friend Julius. From the mountaintop, we viewed the dense forests that characterize this area. We also hiked to Wheelie Falls, the largest waterfall in Western Africa, with a local cocoa farmer. He was an exceptional guide. Not only did we learn about the falls, but we learned about local crop production and area folklore. Once reaching the waterfall, our guide pointed out the enormous colony of fruit bats that lived nearby.
We have been very excited about sharing our Ghanaian ecosystem investigation with our students in Herman, Missouri in a comparative study. We have partnered with the Missouri Department of Conservation, farmers, and an anthropologist in Ghana to show our students that they can find scientists in their own backyards. Our greatest takeaway as travelers to Ghana can be summed up with a quote from Danae Guinera when she was asked how Westerners should approach Africa. Understand that you're functioning from privilege, not genius. Everyone has to go through a stage of development, their own Wild West. We want to thank the Rural School and Community Trust for the privilege of participating in this West Africa adventure.